Welcome to this session. Today we are focusing on the core and our legs, specifically our inner and outer thighs and some booty. What you're going to need today is our little ball if you have one. It's always optional, but I do feel like it really adds some good assistance, especially gets those inner thighs going and helps engage the core muscles a little bit more. And then I am also wearing today just 1 pound ankle weights. These are totally optional. I just want to add a little bit of something else to my leg work later. So yeah, if you have 1 pound or 2 pound ankle weights would be fine, and your ball, and then we'll get started. So as always, just going to start with a little warm up here. Let's start with the ball between our knees in our tabletop position. So knees beneath our hips, hands outside of our shoulders, toes are tucked. Prepare with an inhale. And then as you exhale, we're going to hover our knees. And then inhale, tapping knees down. Exhaling up. Inhaling down. As you exhale, you're drawing in your core here, thinking belly button to spine. As you lift up, low belly's drawing in, and we're knitting our ribs down and together. Working on that core engagement I always talk about, like the accordion, and you're crunching. And we're maintaining our neutral spine for 4 more here. Just a gentle hold on the ball. We're not trying to crush it just yet. Last 2. Last 1. Now we're going to lift up here, holding, squeezing, and releasing the ball. Getting those inner thighs turned on. Our low belly working here in our pelvic floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sit back. Give your wrists a little break, shoulders a little break. Okay, so now in this position, with the ball still between our knees, my toes are together. We're going to do just some hip hinging here. So I'm going to try to keep this kind of neutral spine, and then you're going to press up, pressing hips forward, and then just sitting back. So we're just creasing at the hips and then opening the hips. Just a gentle warm up. I guess those bear hovers weren't so gentle, but good way to get the blood going, heart pumping, get your breathing turned on. Let's start to think of our muscles. So you can start squeezing your bum as you come up. Engaging the core as you come up. Just 2 more here. Again, really gentle warm up. Come back to our hands and knees. Just take a couple cat-cows, tucking under. Press the mat away from your hands. Press it through your feet. Press through your knees. And then the other way. And we'll just do 2 here. 2 more. And last one. All right, another little warm up. So you're going to tuck your toes, hands out in front. Prepare with an inhale. Then as you exhale, coming up into your full plank, your high plank. And then we're going to tap our knees down, come up into our plank. Tapping down and up. So again, thinking strong core. Inner thighs are turned on to hold that ball. And neck is nice and long. My hair is like in my mouth. I thought I'd wear a low pony today to kind of change it up, but I'm having regrets. For 3, 2, and 1. And then carefully come back down. Again, roll out your wrists, your shoulders, whatever you need to do. We're going to come onto the mat, or lie on our mat. So bring your ball with you. We're going to work on our core engagement here. So you have the ball. I'm placing it today kind of between my shoulder blades, a little bit lower, kind of where my bra band is. So as always, your hands can be on the mat. They can be hovering, that's the next level. 3rd level would be beside your head or behind your head, holding the weight of your head. We'll start with some gentle flexions. So you're going to take an inhale, opening your chest to the ceiling. Your accordion is stretching. And then as you exhale, coming up and cinching that waist from pubic bone to bottom rib. Inhaling to open. Exhaling up. Inhaling to open. Exhaling up. So I already have the shakes, oh my gosh. And I'm not making like a big flexion with my spine. I'm staying almost kind of neutral here. And it's just kind of like you're putting more of your spine kind of on the ball and then just slightly hovering off. For 2 more here. And last one. I think maybe because I did a core workout yesterday and I haven't quite recovered and I am shaky. Okay, so our next move is you can stay, again, arms down, arms up, arms by your head. We're going to stay in this neutral spine position as we lift one leg to tabletop, lower it down, other leg up, and lower down. Nice and controlled here. I like to exhale as I come up, cinch that waist, inhale to tap down. And we're alternating legs. Again, the ankle weights add just a little bit more today. And we're going to do 1 more on each side. So just finish so that you're even on each side if you remember what side you started on. So if that was good for you, you can stay there. If you do want to add on, if your stomach wasn't doing like that coning, if your ribs weren't popping out, you can join me in the next level here, which is tabletop legs. And then same idea, we're just going to alternate tapping down and coming up. And again, arms can be down for a little bit more support. And then the hardest would be arms behind your head. I'm going to have kind of the middle today, arms out. Trying to keep your pelvis level here as you tap. Just 1 more on each side. And then we'll give our core a little break. So slide that ball out, come down to your mat fully. If you have the ball today, you're going to put the ball just under your sacrum area, wherever is comfortable, or wherever is comfortable for you, so that you're kind of like balanced a bit. And if you need to wiggle around and find that space, and we might do a couple bridges, and then if you need to adjust, you can. So you want your feet just about a hand's distance away today. We'll start hip distance apart. Prepare with an inhale. As you exhale, lift your hips off your ball. Inhale, just tap down and touch. Exhaling up, inhaling to touch. Good thing about these balls is they tend to not roll away. I mean, they might move a little bit, but if they're flat enough, or they have like the kind of appropriate amount of air. So just a gentle warm up here for our bridging. As you lift, let's think of that core still doing work. Still engaging it each time we lift. Just 4 more here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, that was a nice little warm up. So now let's take the ball, place it between our knees. You have a gentle hold on the ball, gentle squeeze, nothing crazy yet. We're going to do bridging again. Prepare with an inhale. As you exhale, lifting hips up, reaching knees over toes, and then inhale, tap down. Exhale, lifting up, inhaling down. Options today. If you want to keep your arms down, you can. Other option is arms are up. Third option is we're going to move our arms at the same time. So as you lift up, arms are going to arc overhead and then coming back down. And your arms might not touch all the way back. Your range of motion is what you can do while keeping that neutral spine. So if you feel like you need to really arch and your ribs are popping up, maybe don't go so far with your arms today. And we're going to add on, really complicate things today. When we get to the top, we're going to give that ball one squeeze and then come back down. Lifting, squeeze, and lowering. For 4 here. And 3. Shoulders are relaxed as we do this. We're not hunching them up to our ears. Last 2. Last 1, we're going to hold at the top. I'm getting, stupid call. We're going to hold at the top and just squeeze and release the ball. I swear, I get spam calls like every day. Breathing as you squeeze that ball. Try to keep your height in that neutral spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming down. Whoops, you can hug your knees in, whatever feels nice. We're going to put the ball back under our hips for a couple of movements here. So again, find that kind of center area. So I forgot this move last time. Okay, we're going to lift up. You can still be tapping the ball if you need more assistance. You can kind of rest on the ball. That's why it's there. So feet about hip distance apart. We're going to lift up. Transfer your weight to your right foot. We're going to lift our left up to tabletop. Tap left toes down. Same leg lifts up and lowers. So we're keeping working our left or our right leg, the stabilizing leg is the one working here. And the ball is a really good assistant to kind of tell us if we are leaning to one side too much, if we're starting to drop down. And if you do need more of that, you can kind of you see me, I just rested on it. So now I'm resting down, but you can always come up. 2 more here. And 1. You can take a break or just switch sides right away. Plant that left foot, transfer the weight, and then lift your right. Always take your time when you're switching sides for things, you know. Make those little adjustments so that you have that good form. And again, trying to keep hips relatively level. Jaw is relaxed, shoulders are relaxed. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then you can just kind of rest on the ball for a second here. Okay, so our next move, we're going to go back to our abs for a second. We're going to start with one leg up vertical. I'm picking my left leg, and you're just going to lower left leg down and lift it up. So leg is staying straight, or as straight as you can, and I'm working the same leg. So just one leg is doing the work here. I'm not switching sides. Inhale to lower, exhaling up. Again, you can press into the mat with your arms as much as you need, or you can take them off. Maybe try a little balance here. Really feel that length, that energy reaching through your toes, through the crown of your head, through your fingers. One more on this side. Carefully bring that leg down and transfer the weight. Other leg comes up. Whew. Guess my ball isn't quite centered. There we go. And then again, you can start arms. Like I'm wobbling way more on this side. You might find that too. One side can be totally different than the other. Take your options with your arms. Growing long. Bringing that belly button to spine each time you lift. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can just kind of roll back and forth. It's like a little massage on your low back. You can sway knees slightly side to side if it feels okay for you. Okay, so now we're going to get back to that balance. This is where you really want to get centered. Arms are down by your side, either by your side or some people like a T. They find it feel a little bit more secure. Okay, this is it. Legs come to tabletop. Find your balance if you need to adjust. I'm trying to think of that neutral spine again. And we're tapping. Now we are alternating legs. And you might not tap the whole way down. You might only go a couple inches and then come up. A couple inches down and come up. Your range of motion is what you can do. Keeping these ribs knit down. Think of those hip bones drawing together. Using your breath. You can press your arms into the mat to help. Okay, one more on each side. Drop your feet down. Little breather. You know what? We're going to go back to bridging before our next move. Give our core a little chance to recover. Okay, ball goes behind our right knee. Press, your left foot is about in line with your left sit bone. Right leg's going to come up to tabletop. You're going to hold that ball. Prepare with an inhale. As you exhale, lift up. Holding up here. And we're going to do our hinge here at our hip. So tapping toes down and lifting. Tapping and lifting. A lot of hip hinging today. Gentle hold on that ball for 5, 4, 3, relax shoulders and jaw, 2, and 1. We're going to hold up at the top here, and you're just going to squeeze and release that ball. Squeeze and release, squeeze and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully lower hips down, and we're going to switch sides. Ball goes behind your left knee now. Bring that right foot kind of in line with your right sit bone. Prepare with an inhale. Oops. Exhaling, lifting up. Pause at the top here. Tapping left foot down and lifting. Lowering and lifting. Using that breath. Think of reaching that right knee over your toes, far away from your shoulders. For 4, 3, 2, and last one. Holding at the top here, we have our little squeeze and release of the ball. Try to keep that height in your bridge. You got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering down. Okay. For a fun one, getting back to our bridging. So, oh my gosh, I think my brain's not working. Which leg did we just do? We did our right legs. Let's have the ball under our right foot. Okay. So my feet are about hip distance apart still. And I have the ball just under my right foot. I can show you one to demo, and then you can join me. So we are going to lift up into our bridge, pause at the top. We're going to roll out the ball. So it's going to kind of roll up to like your calf or just below your calf, and then roll back under. So you can join me anytime. Sometimes your rolling gets a little wonky depending on your ball and these ankle weights. Always breathing, pressing into your arms to assist. For 4 here, oh, my ball is kind of late. If you need to adjust at any time, do that. And 3, 2, still lifting through that left leg. Last 1. Lifting up, and then now you can have your right foot still on the ball, or you can bring right leg up to tabletop. We're going to do little lifts, just little pulses through our left leg here. Hips are level. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully lowering hips down. You can either roll the ball or grab it to the other side. So now it's under my left foot, kind of the arch of my foot. Right leg, right foot's again in line with my sit bone for me to come up. Prepare with an inhale. As you exhale, lifting up. Pause here. Get comfortable. Well, I mean as comfortable as you can in a single leg bridge. And we're rolling. Think of lengthening that leg each time. And you're lengthening through your right knee, reaching it over your toes. Our core is engaged to help protect our low back. We've got 5. Oh, my ball's kind of going to the side here. For 4, 3. Press into those arms to help. 2, and 1. Bring it back. Again, like I said, either keep your foot there just gently or lift your leg to tabletop, and we're pulsing up 1 inch. You got it. This is it for our bridging. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully lower hips down. Find your ball. You can sway. Let's do a little sway here. Let's sway our knees. So take your feet out wide, about the width of the mat, and then just drop your knees to one side. Just a little low back stretch. You can look the opposite way of your knees if you want. And then let's go to the other side. Sometimes it's a lot for your low back to do all that bridging. Okay. So if you have the ball, we're placing it back under our sacrum area here. Okay. So now we're building again. If this is too much, you can go back to what we were doing before with other feet down and lifting up, alternating, or you can be in tabletop and do your tap downs. We are going to bring our legs up vertical. And now my spine isn't quite neutral, it's more of an imprint. So that just means like my low back is kind of pressing towards the ball or towards the mat. Okay, arms are pressing down for support. We're gonna do alternating leg scissors. So one leg lowers, comes up, other leg's gonna lower, come up. I'm kind of breathing opposite of what I normally do. Normally I inhale down, exhale up, but as long as you are breathing and engaging that core, that deep core, let's do one more of these just straight leg ones. And then you can take a little break. I'm going to take a little break, and then I'll show you the next one. It's helicopter. So what we're going to do is I'll show you one is, and sometimes I have to like mentally think about this. Okay, one leg's going to come down, and then as it comes down, it's going to come out through the side as your other leg goes down. So now you're bringing it, oh yeah, this is it. Okay, one leg goes down, and then you are arcing, kind of doing like a circle with your legs, coming up. Leg goes down, arcing around. So you're doing the same circle the entire time, and then we'll switch to the other side. So what I'm doing is my left leg is going down, so my right leg comes up, and now my legs are turning. If you don't like this, you can just go back to the straight leg or the toe taps. We're just going to do one more in this direction, and then bring legs up. Now we're going to switch. So now my right leg is going down, and I'm circling around kind of the other direction. Now I'm kind of like counterclockwise for me. Lots of core control here, especially that deep lower core. I don't know why I wore ankle weights today, but this is it for our abs for this set. We're just going to do two more here. And then come down. Take the ball out. We're going to do some side lying now. So still lying down. Okay. First, actually, we're going to do our bridging, our side bridging. I'm going to, actually, I'll just use this. So I'm just starting on with my left arm. Doesn't matter which side you start with. I'm going to place the ball between our knees for our first one. We're going to do two different bridgings here, or side bridging or side plank, whatever you want to call it. So as always, my elbow is beneath my shoulder. My hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. Prepare, we're going to go up in 3 seconds. So in 3, 2, and 1, we're going to lift up here, and we're going to hold for the first little bit. Think of that bottom waist lifting you up, not just like your shoulders and your neck. And then now we're going to squeeze and release the ball. Squeeze and release, squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down for a second or two. We're going to come up again in 3 seconds. So in 3, 2, and 1, we are lifting. And then now we're just going to kind of tap our hips down and then lift up. Tapping down, lifting up. Still gently holding onto that ball using our inner thighs and pelvic floor. And whatever range of motion you can do, maybe you're not tapping the whole way down. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Okay, give that arm a little break. We are going to do some, oh my gosh, I can't think, outer glute work. So if you have the ball, you don't need to use the ball, but I'm going to use it today, just kind of prop myself up. So the ball's like wedged in at my hip here, so beneath kind of my bra band area. My shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked. I'm lifting off of the ball, so I'm still using my core to lift up. I'm not totally just sunken into it. So coming up here, bottom knee can be out straight, that's harder. Second Hardest or medium would be your leg kind of out diagonally to the mat, and then easiest would be bent. I'm going to do bent since I have ankle weights on today and I'm using the ball. Okay, so we're going to start with just a straight lift and lower. Lift and lower. So when you're kind of raised like this off of the ground, get a little bit more that oblique work because you're kind of cinching your waist a little bit more. And I'm not lifting crazy high because I do want to keep it in my glutes here. All right, we've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you are bend and stretch, so that's where you bend the knee in, kind of to tabletop, stretching it out. Bending it in, stretching it out. Propping yourself up like this as well. Get a little bit of extra back, like lat work, a little shoulder work, rather than if you're just flop down. So I'm really pressing through my heel to use my glutes. And I'm trying to keep my foot, knee, and hip all at about the same height. So my foot's not up higher and it's also not down lower. For 3 here. And 2. Last 1. I'm gonna give my arm, shoulder a little break. Okay. Coming down. So now we are going to do, we're going to do our star reach. So that's where you're going to reach arm and leg nice and long, growing long, and then kind of crunching it in and reaching. Crunching it in and reaching. So I'm still lifted off of my ball, not just relying on it. Growing long each time through the crown of your head and your fingers to your toes. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, my shoulder does need a little break now. So I'm going to come all the way down for our last little bit of leg work. So your head could be propped in your hand if you're coming down like me, or you can just be lying out flat. I like to prop my head up personally. Okay, so we're going to do these arabesque moves that we've done before. Actually, I'm going to have my leg out straight now, or kind of that crescent shape. Just to make it a little bit harder. So our arabesque. You start in this kind of like bent position, reaching up towards the ceiling. Bring your heels down together. And then you're going to kind of draw in with your toe along the seam of like your legging or your leg. Reaching up, nice and tall. Flexing the foot, heel comes down to meet other heel. Pointing toes, dragging along our inner thigh. Reaching, heels come down. So this is also a lot of core because you don't want to be wobbling to and fro, so that core is nice and tight. Bonus points if you don't need to use this other hand to assist. You can have your hand somewhere else. For 2 more here. And last 1. Nice. Okay. So now, I'm trying to think of, we will just do some circles to finish. So your leg can be out long again, straight as like a basic straight is the hardest. A little bit easier is kind of this crescent shape, or you can have your bottom leg bent. Actually, I'm going to do straight today. So hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked, and we're just doing little hip circles today. So you're thinking of your thigh bone moving around your hip socket in nice little circles. Really reaching that leg. We're thinking of lengthening a lot today. One more in this direction. And then we're reversing our little circles. If you need to have your hand down or bottom leg bent, do that. Take your options. Core is engaged to help. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then bring it down. You can hit your butt out or whatever you want to do. Okay. And then this is what I was going to do for this side. So, hand comes down. My left hand is coming down, and my hand's a little bit in front, or like beside my shoulder. It's not right under my shoulder. My knee is kind of beneath my hips here. I have the ball in my hand. You don't have to hold the ball. And we're going to do our star reaches now in this position. If you want to go back to star reaches that we were just doing, you can do them. But this is kind of our final move on this side. So we're going to reach our star and then lift. And as we're doing this, the hardest part is trying to keep your hips forward, and you're not trying to kind of lean back or squat backwards. You want to think like you're between 2 panes of glass. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we will go just right to the other side in that position since we're already kind of up. And then we'll take it to the other side for everything we just did. So hands a little bit outside of my shoulder, knee beneath my hips. Kind of kickstand your other leg out to start. Reach your fingers nice and long. And then bending elbow towards knee. Elbow and knee might not touch, that's okay. And I should have given you the option too. You can also just like kickstand your leg out and just work on kind of this holding up and moving your arm if you're working at building your strength. We've got 4, really reaching and lengthening. For 3, 2, and 1. So now we're going to start with our side plank on our other side. Ball between the knees, remember to start. Elbow beneath shoulder. Hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. We're going to go up in 3 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Lifting here. And we're holding. Get in a good position. And then if you do want to add on, remember we squeezed and released the ball. Squeezing and releasing. Staying lifted through that bottom waist. And our head is out nice and long from our neck. So our neck is an extension of our spine. All in one nice line. For 3, 2, and 1. Carefully lower down. If you need to adjust your ball, go ahead. We're going to lift up again in 3 seconds for those hip dips. In 3, 2, and 1. Lifting up. Lowering hips down and lifting. Tapping down and lifting. This is also, as I said, some lat work to lift up and some shoulders. That core is tight. For 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Oh my goodness, coming down. Putting the ball under that kind of like beside your hip area. Coming down to your forearm if that's what you're choosing. Get comfortable here. And we're reaching nice and long, lifting and lowering. Lifting and lowering. I'm really reaching through my heel. Staying lifted off of the ball. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is our bend and stretch, so you're bending your knee in, stretching through your heel. Foot, knee, and hip all at about the same height. Second side is always harder because this leg has already worked. It was down on the ground to help stabilize. That leg is helping. Those muscles are turned on. Check in that your shoulders are relaxed. For 2 here. Last 1. And then this is where I took the ball out on my other side. So my shoulders have just been a little bit sore. Okay, I'm just tired, I think. So now we have our arabesque. So I'm bringing my foot a little bit in front of me, kind of this crescent position, reaching leg up towards the ceiling. Ooh, don't do what I did. Don't just rock back. That's where we want to make sure our hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. Bring your heel down towards your other heel. Point your toe, drag your toe along your seam or kind of like your inner leg, lifting up to the ceiling. Heel comes down in that flexed foot. Pointed toe, dragging along, reaching up, flex at the foot, heels together. So when you are side lying too, you always want to think of a long torso. I'm trying to keep a neutral spine, but I'm trying to think of a long spine, not trying to compress any vertebrae. And again, if you need your hand to assist you or bottom knee bent in order to keep those hips stacked, do that. We've got 2 more here. And then we just finish with our circles. And last 1. And then if you need to adjust, I was out nice and long here for my circle, so I'll do that on this side again, but bottom knee can be bent or in that crescent position. I'm pointing my toes today, and we're doing our little circles. So I'm thinking of lengthening. It's like I'm trying to reach the other wall and draw on it with my toe. And I'm thinking of that movement coming from my hip joint, not just from my ankle. 3 more in this direction. 2 and 1. And then reversing. This is it. A good lazy lying down workout, but if you're like me, hopefully you're feeling it. For 3, 2, and 1. And then again, you can hit it out. Like before, we'll just come onto our backs for a little stretch. So crossing one ankle over opposite knee. You could take off your ankle weights if you used them. You can stay here, or you can reach through, grabbing that opposite behind your hamstring. You can rock side to side or stay still. You can hug it in a little bit more if you want a little bit more stretch. And then we'll just switch sides. So the best thing you can do for your muscle recovery is taking nice big breaths, turning onto that parasympathetic nervous system, giving your body magnesium. Make sure you have proper salt intake for your electrolytes, and obviously rest, good sleep. You can go for a walk or anything like that. And then just hugging your knees in, little low back massage here. And then carefully, you can swing yourself up or roll up. We'll do just a little cat-cow. Hands beneath shoulders, knees hip distance apart. And just curling here, press the mat away. And then the other way. You can hold in one position if it feels good for you, a little bit longer. And as always, this is your stretch. You can if you want to sway side to side a little bit, hold on one side. Just tuning into your breathing. And one more here. as always, thank you for joining me. Leave any comments, anything you want to see. If you liked anything in particular or want to see more of that, let me know, and I'll see you next time.